April 21st, 2018. It's wedding day in Jupiter, Florida. What this bride and groom are about to do will take your breath away. But why they do it?
We knew that this would be a way to live out our purpose.
We don't have a choice. We have to do this to show others that no matter what you go through, you can get through it.
Is even more extraordinary. 7 yards, effortless for most, mean everything to Bondurant native Chris Norton.
Norton is down.
Because 7 years ago,
they told me after surgery that there's a 3% chance of any kind of movement below the injury site.
he chose to stomp on those odds,
I'm not gonna let other people tell me what's gonna happen to me.
never questioning if, but working toward when.
You don't see many people with the intensity that Chris has.
I've never met somebody as positive as Chris.
I feel good, but I'm never satisfied.
And now he's building an empire of inspiration.
I feel like I'm living out my purpose and significance of my life. If I was still training for myself, I would have quit a long time ago.
Showing how strength stretches far beyond physical ability.
It's all been leading up to this point.
The week after New Year's, every gym in America is packed with high-octane dreamers, goal setters picturing a better life by April, and trainers
Let's go 10 more, huh?
who know full well most won't make it to March. But then there's the guy in the gray shirt,
You don't see many people with the intensity that Chris has.
preparing for his April moment.
Let's get cruising. Let's go. Come on.
One labored step
Beautiful, man. Come on.
at a time.
Keep grinding. Keep grinding. Come on.
Because Chris Norton's whole life is proof opportunities are often born
You think, why am I doing this? Why am I here?
from obstacles.
What all changed for me on just one single play.
That Iowa boy from Bondurant was born with a passion for sports and a drive to compete.
He'd come home after scoring 25 points and he'd say, Dad, critique me. What can I do better?
He just didn't waste time.
So after 4 years of high school highlights at Bondurant Farrar, Luther College in Decorah called. Just 5 games into his freshman year,
They were playing Central and it was in the second half.
Chris was already on special teams, covering this kick, throwing his body at a tackle.
There was kind of a big collision out there.
Chris Norton is down as of right now.
That changed his life.
He's just not moving. And all of a sudden the panic kind of starts to set in.
Laying motionless on that turf, that 18-year-old and his parents were in shock.
It's like you're in this nightmare.
Doesn't take a surgeon at Mayo Clinic to know spinal columns are not supposed to look like this. But that surgeon
He called us into a room.
delivered another blow.
They told me after surgery that there's a 3% chance of any kind of movement below the injury site.
3%.
That was the lowest point of this whole journey.
I was thinking, will I play sports again? Will I walk? Will I get married? Will I be happy?
Within days, everyone in Chris's hometown knew what happened to their boy.
And on Wednesday night, they're going to gather here on this football field to keep the Norton family in their prayers.
While Chris lay motionless at Mayo,
He has a great determination to be mobile again.
If anybody had a chance to be able to come back from something like this, you know, I'd put my money in his corner.
sure enough, within 6 months, he was bench pressing a stick, begging for more weight. His damaged nerves kept waking up.
Chris Norton!
He hounded his therapist.
1, 2, 3.
Anything they said, hey, if you do this, it will help you. But what if I do it 5 times as long?
Chris even convinced them to strap him into equipment simulating his ultimate goal, the one everyone already knew he'd set.
He just was never ready to give up.
Less than a year after Chris Norton was carried off Luther's field on a backboard, his teammates rolled him back on in a wheelchair and then helped him stand up.
You know, it was a great rush and it's a great feeling to be back. Kind of a stepping stone in my recovery.
He'd already obliterated the odds.
He just was convinced he was going to beat it.
His therapist couldn't believe his progress.
I think it's a miracle. That's good, Chris. I'm not helping at all.
And his family couldn't hold in their tears.
Oh my goodness. Kaya, don't cry.
Chris insisted 3 hours of therapy a day wasn't enough.
He said he wanted 4. He got it up to 4, which was way more than anybody else was doing.
Even when he returned to Luther College full-time just 1 year after his accident, because he was already pushing himself again.
I want to walk across the stage for graduation.
Christopher Norton.
4.5 years after Chris Norton's spinal cord was injured so severely, experts gave him a 3% chance of ever moving below his neck, he wore a cap, a gown, and sneakers. He insisted the college president stay right where she was. He was walking to her.
It was just this non-stop cheering.
No one even noticed that brunette by his side was wearing a new ring, cementing the bond so strong that even their wedding could be an inspiration.
We don't have a choice. We have to do this.
While creating an empire built to inspire business leaders, athletes, and even their own house full of kids against all odds.
You're watching Against All Odds, a This Is Iowa special presentation.
Wait for it, drive through those feet, let's go. Get up.
7 years after surgeons told Chris Norton he'd never move again.
All right, boss man, big push, let's go.
His personal trainer,
There you go, not bad, I'll take it.
who doubles as a drill sergeant,
Stand tall on that hip, big drive. Land that foot, push through, let's go. Last back lean.
makes Chris cringe for 3 hours
Stand tall on that hip, get tall on that right hip.
every day.
You don't need those hands, man, let's go. Use your butt. Stand tall, drive through, let's go.
I want it to be demanding. I want it to be hard. I want it to be uncomfortable.
Which is obvious, seeing his legs tremble
Woo! You still got it.
5 yards away from his wheelchair.
It's hard to like move because my muscles are fighting each other and they're already contracting against my will.
Chris's slow, mechanical, labored steps cross this gym every day, while strangers in on his secret watch.
To think that he's going to be walking down the aisle soon to marry the love of his life is awesome.
I knew she was the one.
By the time they took that last big walk together, Emily Summers had already been dating Chris
I just had an instant connection.
for almost 2 years.
This guy's incredible. Like, you don't meet people like this. Like, what's up with this?
They hit it off immediately.
You would ask really personal questions. Like right away, it was like, maybe like first started talking, she wanted to know like, what was it like waking up after surgery? Like from your spinal cord injury, like
I'm a curious person.
that like most people would not ask, and they'd feel uncomfortable. They wouldn't want to make me uncomfortable, but she was just so curious. And like when you're able to ask some of those hard-hitting questions, it like, I don't know, you feel like a connection.
4 months after they met, Emily was already helping him stand as he spread his message. And he knew
There's like an attraction there. There's a connection that just grows and just becomes stronger.
So the night before graduation, he proposed. She said yes. And by the time their walk with that new ring had been watched 300 million times on Facebook, they'd made a decision.
We realized that there's something more to this than just ourselves. God is working in a bigger way and through us. And what if we walk the wedding aisle? What can that do for someone else?
2 years ago, Chris Norton knew what he wanted, to walk his bride down the aisle at their wedding. And he also knew where he needed to go to make that happen, under the right field bleachers of a spring training baseball stadium here in Port St. Lucie, Florida.
Where Barwis Methods has 2 specialties: preparing the New York Mets for their long season,
Come on, Chris.
and spinal cord patients like Chris for life.
Good, you're good. Come on, hit it again.
It's not easy.
Come on, Chris. Drive up. Push to that left, pull that right when it can. Come on, we need more. We need more than that. Let's go. Give me another one. No, come on, get it. There you go. Thank you.
But 3 months before his vows, he knew he didn't want his bride walking backwards in her dress, supporting him.
We definitely got to work on getting his hips to be a little more stable. It's one of those things that you and I we take for granted.
He wanted his partner by his side, just like she is, as they inspire millions online.
Just work on it every single day. Don't give up.
And care for their 5 kids.
This is an interesting dinner session, isn't it?
While he travels the country.
We all have what I call the power to stand.
Leading up to their walk designed to inspire the world. Their 7-year journey against all odds was just beginning. 10 weeks to go.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Get a little bit further back in the upper body.
Chris Norton knew if he wanted to walk his bride down the aisle,
good.
He'd need 3-hour workouts.
Let's go 10 more, huh?
Every day. Designed to add flexibility and stability.
Keep fighting. Keep fighting, Chris.
But his stubborn muscles still made every move way too unpredictable.
Like, I know what I'm supposed to do and what needs to move. It's just a matter of mentally really trying to engage it.
But workouts can only stretch so far past the Florida sunset, before Chris's driver shuttles him 7 miles home. Because dinner?
Now that we have 5 kids, we use paper plates.
Just got 5 times as busy.
Was I talking? Remember, we don't interrupt.
Just 4 months before their wedding,
You're sitting right over here. That's your plate, okay?
Florida's Department of Children and Families called Emily,
Hold hands, we're gonna pray, come on.
whose passion for Chris is only matched by her love of foster kids.
To be happy and healthy.
To be happy and healthy.
Amen.
What happened at school?
They're just kids who need somebody to love them and care for them.
These 4 sisters under 10 came as a package deal.
Really? That's awesome.
While Chris and Emily were already caring for a 3-year-old with a habit of breaking things. But her philosophy?
Who cares? It's a lamp. They've gone through way worse. They need us more than the things around our house.
Throw in Ivory, their dog, and evenings are unpredictable.
This is an interesting dinner session, isn't it?
Especially when the 5 kids start grilling their new foster parents about falling in love.
Are you trying to get a job at KCCI?
I fell in love with Chris because he's a super caring, loving person who really wants to help others.
Even though it's difficult just to clear the table.
So yes, those things, some people could look at that and be like, that would be way too much. I would never be able to do that. For me, it's just nothing. It's just you do what it takes because we're so just committed to this and love it so much. And I just know that it's God's purpose. And when you know that you're living out God's purpose, like things are easy.
But not necessarily cheap.
Yeah, this is my office. I love it.
So while the kids are at school before his afternoon workout, he polishes his next motivational speech.
I think this is what I'm on the earth to do.
Tailored to the company who will fly him in.
We all have what I call the power to stand.
To tell the Chris Norton story.
You can take away my physical ability, but you cannot take away my attitude or my effort.
And to watch as he proves attitude, effort, and purpose can change your life.
I'd like to challenge each of you here to stand up to the obstacles and challenges that you're facing. So every time I speak, I analyze it and try to figure out what can I do better.
He has plenty of practice.
I want you guys all to cherish this moment and just work as hard as you can.
Last year, he spoke to 90 groups. Most required a flight. When he is home,
Hey everyone, I'm Emily.
It's Chris. What's up?
they're motivating 80,000 Facebook followers
Oh, I think you can work on this last paragraph here.
to make sure his "you can do it" message sinks in.
Just thinking about it from a mindset of different than yours.
They even have a new book and a documentary, 7 Yards, coming out in 2019. And then
We're very grateful.
there are the checks. Chris's foundation regularly drops off $20,000 or $60,000 so Iowa hospitals can buy equipment he never got to use.
I have hopes that someday we can even start our own outpatient rehab facility.
But even more impressive than the $750,000 he's raised is his age, 26.
I feel good, but I'm never satisfied. I always feel like there's more to be done. There's more I can be doing.
Last one, reach.
Which is why
Not bad at all, brother.
the guy with 5 kids and a dog at home,
Big drive, squeeze right in the back of that tricep, right there.
and a schedule keeping him on the road most weeks,
Come on, babe. Hit it again, come on, you got it.
is so determined to use the moment he knows is coming.
Push, 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 push.
The moment his parents have been praying about since that first night in the hospital.
He wanted to be married and have kids and have a great life. And I thought, now what?
It's taken 7 years. But Chris Norton has found his footing and his life's partner.
Absolutely. She has answered prayer. Yeah.
Ready?
Yep.
He's even found the strength after every exhausting day to walk together to bed, practicing their sometimes still wobbly walk.
It is a lot harder to go side by side. There's a lot less support that I can give him.
Weddings are usually about the bride and groom.
You want it to be perfect.
Chris and Emily are determined their moment at the end of this aisle will motivate millions.
We're willing to do whatever it takes.
The payoff to 7 years of grueling work.
It's all been leading up to this point.
Next. Saturday, April 21st. It's been the date in the back of Chris and Emily's minds for years. Not only is the day to say I do, but also when to make an impact with just a few strides. Florida golf courses are naturally gorgeous, which is why brides picture their perfect day here. Even ones who swear this day is more about the message and the marriage than the ceremony.
Here's the thing with the wedding. I am super excited to marry Chris. The details of the wedding, I really don't care about.
Down the hall, the guy surrounded by groomsmen helping him get dressed knows the moment he's been working for is now just a few hours away.
You want it to be perfect. I'm worried about the things that are out of my control, I guess.
Like the Florida heat and the flooring that won't be quite like the gym where he's practiced for months. Always looking forward to these moments on this day. 225 people can say they were there on that Florida golf course when Chris Norton married Emily Summers.
Chris, will you have this woman to be your wife?
Soaking in every moment that happens at every wedding.
I, Emily, take you, Chris.
I, Emily, take you, Chris.
For my lawful husband.
But this bride and this groom wanted the world here too.
If you want to stand.
For this moment.
By the authority committed to me as a representative of Jesus Christ and His church, I now pronounce you husband and wife. Chris, you may kiss your bride.
And I'd risk it all for this life we choose. Hand in my hand, and we promise to never let go. We're walking a tightrope. High in the sky, we can see the whole world down below. We're walking a tightrope.
I feel like I'm living out my purpose and significance of my life. What I went through with my spinal cord injury was, at the time, devastating. I just thought, what's gonna happen? Why is this happening? And I think this is why. I'm glad it happened. this is what I'm on the earth to do, is to help other people who are struggling. We're going through adversity, and I have insight on what it's like to be through some severe adversity, and I've made it through it. I'm living a great life. I want other people to live the same great life that I'm living.
We're willing to do whatever it takes to be able to show people that you can get through anything and hard work pays off.
We're doing it together, and we did it together, and you know, the possibilities are endless.